component, and also most of the students opting TYBCOM from Mumbai University are selecting this subject. To deliver the session, we have one of the very experienced and top-notch professional for this subject, Dr. C.A. Bhavna Binwani ma'am. Ma'am is having experience for many years. So before, thank you very much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation to deliver the session. Before I ask ma'am to start the session, I want to give a brief introduction for the achievement of the Bhavna ma'am. Her educational achievements are, she has completed her MCOM from Pune University, securing 68%. She has completed postgraduate diploma in financial management from Mumbai University. She has completed, she's qualified NET exam, which is one of the eligibility criteria for the professor, and she has completed CA as well as her PhD in May 2018. So these are the essential credentials to her credit. Apart from this, ma'am is also having a lot of work experience. She has worked as a vice principal for degree section in CHM College. Ma'am is board of study member for syllabus framing. She's also examiner for the CA papers, and she's also a visiting faculty to Department of Accountancy, ICWAI, and she's the CA orientation faculty for CA Institute. She is also the examiner of CA and IPCAI in final year's paper. She is a visiting faculty to various different colleges. Ma'am is having additional work experience to work in different committees of the college, that is exam committee, admission committee, IQSC, prospectus committee, economic convention committee, and she is also the advisory member of national conference held at Pragati College. Apart from that, she is the guest faculty in different colleges and different commerce bodies such as CA and ICWAI. In addition to this, ma'am has also presented various papers, and she has attended various conferences as well as the workshops. The list of achievement of Bhavna ma'am is endless, but I will request ma'am to take the charge of the session and start with the session. Thank you very much, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am. A very, very long and elaborated resume you are reading. Thank you very much. Now I'm realizing I had achieved so much. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, here, ma'am, I'm going to introduce.
You deserve this.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm going to share my PPT regarding a brief revision. It's just like a revision for the entire direct taxation paper, so that in one session, the student would be coming across all the topics, and this would be very helpful for them while writing their examination. So I'm sharing my screen with the students. Madam, can I close my video now? Is it okay, or let it be on? What?
You can close it.
I hope, dear student, my screen is visible to you all.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, just present through the this slideshow.
Yes, slideshow. Yeah. Is it okay, ma'am? Now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Good morning, dear students. Here we are going to have just a brief revision, like for the topic direct taxation. As madam had already told, that this is one of the applied component in semester 5 of TYBCOM. But as direct taxation is having much weightage in the outside world also, so many of the students consider this as a compulsory subject, and they opt for this subject. What I can assume that out of 80,000 students who are appearing for TYBCOM this year from the Mumbai University, more than 60,000 to 70,000 students appear for direct taxation. Though it is an optional subject, but then also it is taken by majority of the students, Because in the financial group, as you all belong to the financial accounting and the auditing group, direct taxation play very important role. As in semester 5, we have direct taxation, and in semester 6, we have again the important one, indirect taxation, that is your GST. Now, the paper pattern already must be known to you all. It is a revised paper pattern. We have 100 marks written paper, and we are expecting examinations after Diwali, maybe after CA examinations, that is after 17. That is a just assumption, because during CA examination, TYBCOM examinations are generally not held. So let's see what university is coming up with the guidelines. I being the university coordinator for my college, so some internal points I know regarding the examination. Now coming to your paper pattern, we have 100 marks written paper for this semester. The paper pattern, it's very simple: 20 marks objectives, 20 marks theory. Remaining 3 questions would be 20 marks practical. In that, 20 marks would be definitely on the computation of the taxable income, and remaining 40 marks we can be having various sources. Maybe the question can be of 10 marks, maybe it can be 12 marks, but generally we are expecting 10 marks, 4 questions plus 20 marks question on the computation. So again, I'm telling, we have 100 marks paper with question number 1 objective, question number 2 numerical problem, question number 3 numerical problem, question number 4 numerical problem. Question number 4, we generally expect computation of taxable income, net taxable income. There we can have 2 to 3 sources along with 2 to 3 deductions. And question number 2, we can have salary or an option with house property. Question number 3, we can have capital gains or an option with scope of income or option with your residential status, like this. And question number 5 surely would be theory. And in that theory, definitely one question is expected of definitions. So this is a general guideline based on the paper patterns, based on the old papers which had been started from 2018, how the paper can be. 2018, the syllabus was changed and we came up with the new paper pattern. So a general baseline based on the papers which have been conducted previously. And you all are going after 2 years for a written paper. So definitely such sessions are required for you all to understand how to write the paper. Now, a basic thing, this is already must have done in your class, that what do you understand by the tax? Tax is simply a part of an individual earnings which is required to be paid to the government in order to generate revenue. It is a mandatory liability for every citizen of the country to pay the tax. And in India, there is the existence of 2 taxes. One is direct and another one is indirect. Now, when I say direct tax, India mein agar main direct tax ka naam leti hu, so we have only one direct tax. Everybody know that is income tax. But apart from that, there is one more direct tax, that is your wealth tax, which is not very popular, but there is an existence of another direct tax, that is a wealth tax. Like we have indirect tax, nowadays we have only one indirect tax, that is GST. Now, why we require tax? Government को country को चलाने के लिए, गवर्नमेंट को कंट्री के एक्सपेंडिचर्स करने के लिए कोई ना कोई रेवेन्यू का सोर्स चाहिए. So this is the main source of income for the government. So this is just a basic thing. What do you understand by the tax? It is the mandatory requirement. It is a compulsory liability for every citizen, whoever is earning the income, to pay the tax. This is just the basic thing. Now coming to your syllabus. Your syllabus start with definitions. I told you we are expecting one definition in the short note. Surely 1 or 2 definitions we are expecting in short note. Even one of the definition like income can come as a full-fledged 10 marks question. Now we have 5 definitions as per the syllabus of Mumbai University. The first definition is person. Person is coming under section 231. As per section 231, there are 7 categories of person. We have individual, HUF, then partnership firm, and partnership firm includes even a nowadays limited liability firm. Then we have company, then we have association of person, body of individuals. Then we can have any artificial judicial person not included in the above categories. Now, the definition of the person is important क्योंकि जब भी आप इनकम टैक्स कैलकुलेट करोगे और इनकम टैक्स में वो रिटर्न आप फाइल करोगे, the return would be filed as per your category. Every category of person would be having a separate document to be filed with the income tax department. So person definition make you a more important because it will decide which return of income you are going to fill in the income tax department. Then is previous year. For your examination, the previous year is 2021-22. That is a landmark thing for you all to remember. And for you all, the assessment year is 2022-23. Previous year वो year होता है जिसमें हम income को earn करते हैं, and assessment year वो होता है जिसमें income को assess किया जाता है और उसके ऊपर tax payment की जाती है. So for my examination, the previous year is 2021-22 and the assessment year is 2022-23. Whatever problems you're going to solve, it would be based on the provisions of 2021-22 with the assessment year 2022-23. Then comes the word assessee. Assessee जो भी income tax department में deal करेगा, जो person income tax department में deal करेगा, चाहे मैं अपने लिए deal कर रही हूँ, चाहे मेरे refund के लिए deal कर रही हूँ, चाहे मैं किसी और के लिए deal कर रही हूँ, as a representative, I would be called as assessee. And the last definition is income. Income is the crux of the income tax. अगर आपने कुछ भी earn किया है, वो अगर आपकी income है, as per the definition under section 224, then it would be chargeable to income tax. Section 224 gives a list of around more than 20 items which are income. And apart from this, it is an inclusive definition. Inclusive definition means इसके अलावा जो भी डेफिनेशन में लिखा हुआ है, इसके अलावा अगर और भी कुछ आपको लगता है कि वो इनकम है, then it would be called as income. Then comes the next topic which we are expecting as a problem for 10 marks. This would be how your residential status would be determined. If you are an individual, how your residential status would be determined. Based on your residential status, your which income would be taxable in India and which income would not be taxable in India. Your residential status for all the act which are applicable in India, whatever be, let it be a custom act, let it be GST, let it be any of the act in India, they all act to say that your residential status would be determined as per section 6 of the Income Tax Act. इसका मतलब section 6 को इतना ज़्यादा वेटेज है कि अगर section 6 बोलता है कि ये बंदा resident है, तो वो कहलाएगा resident. Now we have to understand what are the conditions for an individual to determine the residential status. Whenever you are getting a problem on this, it is expected, the answer is expected in a form where first of all you are going to write the first thing, जो भी individual की information होगी, उसका previous year में इंडिया में कितने दिन स्टे है, मुझे सबसे पहले फाइंड आउट करना पड़ेगा कि 1 अप्रैल 21 से लेके 31 मार्च 22 तक वो कितने दिन इंडिया में था, फिजिकली इंडिया में था। जिस दिन वो आउटसाइड इंडिया गया वो भी दिन कंसीडर होगा कि वो इंडिया में है, और जिस दिन वो इंडिया में वापस आया दैट इज ऑल्सो कंसिडर दैट ही इज इन इंडिया। जस्ट 1 second. So he would be considered in India depending upon the number of days his stay in India. Now what this condition say? As per section 6(1), if an individual stay in India for a period of 182 days or more, he would be considered as resident. This is the basic condition कि अगर आप किसी भी साल में, मतलब हमारे लिए तो 21-22 में, अगर आप इंडिया में हो कितने दिन, 182 days या उससे ज्यादा, then you would be considered as resident. First condition. Second condition say, if you don't satisfy condition number 1, check condition number 2. My second condition say that if you are in India in the current previous year for 60 days or more, and in the last 4 preceding previous years, if you are in India for a period of 365 days or more, then you are resident for the current assessment year. मतलब करंट ईयर में 60 डेज और पिछले 4 सालों में अगर आप 365 डेज इंडिया में हो, you would be considered resident. There is an exception. If you go outside India for the purpose of employment, or if you are a person of Indian origin comes for a visit to India, then 60 days would be replaced by 182 days. Even if you go outside India as a member of an Indian crew, then 60 days would be replaced by 182 days. So this is a something general condition for your residential status. लेकिन जब आपको आंसर लिखना है, आंसर लिखने के टाइम पे what you have to do, पहले आपको देखना है कि आपका इंडिया में करंट ईयर में स्टे कितना है, फिर आपको लिखनी है कंडीशंस, फिर आपको चेक करना है कि whether you are satisfying the conditions or not. Once you satisfy the condition, you have to write the final answer. This is expected for 10 marks. Once you become resident, we have to check whether you are resident and ordinarily resident or resident not ordinarily resident. Now, how to check resident and ordinarily resident? For checking ROR, I have to be first of all resident. अगर मैं resident हूँ तो मैं सेक्शन 66 भी चेक करूंगी. सेक्शन 66 क्या बोल रहा है? I should be resident for at least 2 in out of 10 previous years, and in the 7 preceding years, my stay in India should be 730 days or more. So, 2 conditions. Just 1 second. Yes. Second condition. First condition say that your stay in India should be for a period of 730 days in the 7 preceding years, and the second condition say that you should be resident for 2 2 years in out of 10 years. So these are the two conditions which we have to satisfy to become R and OR. If you don't satisfy section 1, you directly become non-resident. कभी कभार एग्जाम में ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन आता है जहां पे आप नॉन रेसिडेंट डिक्लेयर हो जाते हो. सो अगोगली क्वेश्चन भी बहुत बार आ सकता है जहां पे आप नॉन रेसिडेंट डिक्लेयर होते हो. दिस क्वेश्चन कैन बी आस्क्ड फॉर 10 मार्क्स इन द पेपर. Moving ahead, yes. Now, once you declared resident, 1 minute. Yes. Moving ahead, sorry, there was an urgent call from principal. Sometime it happens in between. Extremely sorry. Yes. Now, once you are declared with resident and ordinarily resident, not ordinarily resident and non-resident, what is the impact? What impact is going to happen? Such type of problem is again expected for 10 marks. Now, what the type of the problem is expected? You would be given some incomes and it would be asked whether in the particular source it is taxable, whether under the particular residential status it is taxable or not. Basically, we are having these 5 to 6 types of incomes from where the question can be asked. First of all, if you receive any income in India, whether it is earned in India or whether it is not earned in India, but if it is received in India, it would be taxable in all the categories. Second category is if there is any income which is accruing or arising in India, whether it is received in India or whether it is received anywhere in India, outside India. Accruing or arising मतलब इनकम हाथ में नहीं मिली है लेकिन मेरे नाम पे इनकम अर्न हो गई है. जैसे सपोज मेरा फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट है किसी बैंक का, फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट का इंटरेस्ट मुझे तब मिलेगा जब उसकी मैच्योरिटी आएगी, हाथ में इनकम तब आएगी. लेकिन जैसे जैसे ईयर उसका पास होता जाएगा, सपोज 5 साल की फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट है, फर्स्ट ईयर में मेरा इंटरेस्ट हुआ अर्न 2000 रुपया, वो मुझे मिलेगा 5 साल के बाद, लेकिन टैक्सेबल उसी ईयर में होगा जिस साल में वो अराइज हुआ है. सो इफ एनी इनकम अक्रू और अराइज इन इंडिया, whether received in India or elsewhere, then also it is taxable. Any income which is accruing or arising outside India, received outside India from a business which is controlled from India. If there is any business controlled from India, then the income would be taxable under 2 headings. First R and OR, second R but not ordinarily resident. Resident, not ordinarily resident. Any income which is arising outside India and receivable outside India, then it would be taxable only in the first category. And if there is any income which is earned in the previous year और अभी सिर्फ remittance हुआ है, remittance होने का मतलब है इनकम नहीं मुझे मिली है, मुझे सिर्फ पैसे आए हैं. मेरा बेटा फॉरेन में जॉब कर रहा है, उसको सैलरी फॉरेन में मिल रही है, वो उसमें से कुछ पैसे मुझे भिजवा रहा है, मुझे रेमिट कर रहा है, तो तो वो कहाँ पे भी टैक्सेबल नहीं होगी, क्योंकि वो इनकम ही नहीं है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यहाँ पे टैक्सेबल होने के लिए इट शुड बी अ इनकम. देन सो एग्जाम में वो वर्ड आएगा past untaxed profits. Now just I'm sharing one more word file with you all. Just 1 second. In between only I'm sharing this with you all. Yes. Reena madam, I hope it is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. Now we have 5 sources of income. Whatever income we are going to earn, the government has, the income tax department has bifurcated into various sources of income. The first source of the income is income from salary. A full-fledged question of 15 to 10 to 20 marks. It can be asked from salary. A full-fledged question is compulsorily is going to come on salary, because salary is one of the major source of income for the government. Profit and gains to hai hi hai, but apart from profit and gains, the major source of the income is salary. Now, in this salary, there are 3 sections, section 15 to section 17. This is the pro forma how the salary income can be calculated. On the top, you're required to write in name of the assessee, then assessment year, previous year, legal status, individual. आपको जितने भी problems आएंगे, it would be on individual, because company, HUF, partnership firm, this is out of the scope of the syllabus. We have to restrict only and only to individual. Now, under income from salary, what we are going to earn? We have salary, which would be including your arrears as well as advance salary. In the question, it would be given basic salary, which is also called as wages. Income tax के eyes में salary and wages में कोई difference नहीं है. Fees, अगर आपका employer आपको दे रहा है. Commission, pension, कौन सी pension taxable होगी? Uncommuted pension, जो हर महीने आपको पेंशन मिलेगी, महीने में, 6 महीने में, 1 साल में, रिटायरमेंट के बाद जो एवरी पीरियोडिकल पेमेंट मिलेगी, दैट वुड बी टैक्सेबल. देन ग्रेच्युटी, जब आप रिटायर होगे आपको ग्रेच्युटी मिलती है, आपका जमा किया हुआ पैसा मिलता है, सब्जेक्ट टू द एग्जम्पशन अंडर सेक्शन 10, जितना टैक्सेबल है दैट वुड बी टैक्सेबल. लीव सैलरी, एन्युटी का दूसरा नाम है पेंशन. बोनस, bonus तभी ही taxable होगा whenever it is going to be received. If no bonus is received, then it is not taxable. सिर्फ bonus declare किया है तो वो taxable नहीं होगा. Then allowances. Salary में आपको salary के अलावा ये सब allowances भी मिलते हैं. One is DNS allowance, HRA, that is called as house rent allowance. उसमें से कुछ exemption है. ये एग्जामेशन आप लोग लकी हो, आपको कैलकुलेट नहीं करना है, ये एग्जाम में दिया रहेगा. देन कन्वेंस अलाउंस, वो भी कितना एग्जाम्प्ट है वो भी दिया रहेगा. स्पेशल अलाउंस, लंच अलाउंस, फिक्स्ड मेडिकल अलाउंस, एंटरटेनमेंट अलाउंस, बच्चों को पढ़ाने के लिए एजुकेशन अलाउंस. एजुकेशन अलाउंस एग्जाम्प्ट है 200 रुपीज पर चिल्ड्रन अप टू 2 चिल्ड्रन. ये सब एग्जाम्प्ट है, ये सब टैक्सेबल्स है. देन वी हैव परक्विजिट्स टैक्सेबल. Yes, we get perquisites. Perquisite means the things which are not in monetary benefit, non-cash benefits. We have rent-free accommodation. घर मिला है जिसकी rent government ने या employer ने नहीं ली है. Concession in rent, any amenity granted free of cost to the specified employee. अब ये specified employee कौन है? जो कंपनी का डायरेक्टर है, या जिसके पास 20% वोटिंग राइट्स है, मतलब शेयर्स है, या जिसकी सैलरी साल की 50,000 से ज्यादा है, ही इज स्पेसिफाइड एम्प्लॉय। किसी स्पेसिफाइड एम्प्लॉय को अगर अगर उसका एम्प्लॉयर ये देता है फ्री इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, फ्री गैस, स्वीपर की सैलरी, कुक की सैलरी, इन सब की सैलरीज अगर देता है, देन दैट वुड बी टैक्सेबल। एनी एम्प्लॉयज ऑब्लिगेशन डिस्चार्ज्ड बाय एम्प्लॉयर, मेरे बेटे की स्कूल की फीस अगर मेरे एम्प्लॉयर ने पे की तो इट वुड बी टैक्सेबल फॉर मी। मेरा लाइफ इंश्योरेंस मेरे एम्प्लॉयर ने पे किया, इट वुड बी टैक्सेबल। इसके अलावा अगर कोई मुझे बेनिफिट मिल रहा है ऑन द ओकेजन ऑफ दिवाली, any contribution to recognized provident fund, to unrecognized provident fund, then it would be taxable. These are the things which are taxable under salary. From gross salary, only 3 deductions are allowed. One is standard deduction. Standard deduction is rupees 50,000 or whatever amount of the gross salary is, whichever is less, that would be allowed as a deduction. ये important क्यों है less word यहाँ पे? Suppose मेरी gross salary 45,000 है, तो मुझे deduction 45,000 ही मिलेगा। Suppose मेरी gross salary 1 लाख रुपी है, तो मुझे deduction 50,000 ही मिलेगा, उससे ज्यादा नहीं मिलेगा। The second deduction is entertainment allowance. Entertainment allowance पहले तो सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय को मिलेगा, अगर किसी गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय को एंटरटेनमेंट अलाउंस रिसीव हुआ है, then you would be getting a deduction of entertainment allowance. How much is the deduction? Rupees 5,000 or actual amount of entertainment allowance or 1/5 of the basic salary, whichever is less, out of 3 whichever is less. And the last one is profession tax. जितना भी प्रोफेशन टैक्स आपकी सैलरी में से पेड हुआ है, that would be allowed as a deduction and we will get net taxable salary. So this is generally about your income from salary. Now we move to the next source. Reena ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Madam, can I have an interaction with the students or it would be later on?
Later on, ma'am, because we have
Later.
time constraint also, no?
Yeah. I'm going a
question-
little bit fast now.
Yes,
Yeah.
if any questions are there, we will have at the end of the session.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, because I thought after each source I should have an interaction or at the later on.
Yeah,
Okay, ma'am. Okay, no issue, no issue.
yeah.
Yes, the next source. Ma'am, can you see the PPT on the screen? No, now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. The next source of the income is income from house property. Now, for this source of income from house property, we have to calculate the annual value. Now, what is the annual value for any of the property? Annual value is nothing but the municipal one. Yes, the annual value is nothing but the municipal valuation, the fair rent, and the actual rent. Municipal valuation and the fair rent would be compared. The value which is the highest, that would be called as the reasonable letting value. Reasonable letting value would be compared with actual rent. Whichever is higher, that would be called as your gross annual value. Sometimes actual rent is less due to the vacancy period or unrealized rent, then the lesser amount would be considered as gross annual value. In this way, we can calculate gross annual value. From this gross annual value, we have to deduct any municipal taxes paid by the owner. Owner is important, and the balance would be called as net annual value. Now, this would be the procedure if your property is a let out property. From net annual value, there is a deduction of statutory deduction of 30%. ये किसके लिए दिया जाता है कि अगर आप अपने प्रॉपर्टी को रिपेयर करवा रहे हो, मेंटेनेंस कर रहे हो, उसके लिए डिडक्शन दिया जाता है. लेकिन अगर पूरे साल में आपने अपने प्रॉपर्टी के ऊपर 0 रुपीस भी खर्चा किया तो भी ये डिडक्शन मिलेगा. Then another deduction we have is interest on borrowed capital. If I acquire I take a loan for the acquisition, construction of a property, then whatever interest on loan I am going to pay for a let out property without any limitation is allowed as a deduction. And another type of property we have is self-occupied property. If there is any self-occupied property which is not let out, मैं उसमें खुद रह रही हूँ, in that case, gross annual value minus municipal taxes, gross annual value in that case is nil. No deduction for municipal taxes. Net annual value is also nil. No standard deduction. Only we get a deduction of interest on borrowed capital. And that also, the limit is there. If the loan has been taken before 1/4/1991, then, sorry, 1/4/1999, then the deduction amount is maximum is 30,000. And if the loan is taken after 1/4/1999, then the maximum amount is 2 lakhs. So, very important to understand, मेरी दो प्रॉपर्टी है, एक एसओपी है और एक एलओपी है. एसओपी जिसमें मैं रहती हूँ, एलओपी जिसको मैंने रेंट पे दे दी. अगर मेरे पास दो प्रॉपर्टीज हैं और मैं एक में रहती हूँ, एक खाली पड़ी हुई है, तो जो खाली पड़ी हुई है वो बन जाएगी डीम्ड टू बी लेट आउट. लेकिन ये मेरे ऊपर छोड़ा गया है, मैं किसको एसओपी करूं और किसको एलओपी डीम्ड एलओपी करूं. कभी कभार इनकम फ्रॉम हाउस प्रॉपर्टी में नेगेटिव इनकम आती है और वो नेगेटिव इनकम कैन बी सेट ऑफ अगेंस्ट एनी पॉजिटिव इनकम. सो दिस इज इनकम फ्रॉम हाउस प्रॉपर्टी. देन वी हैव द थर्ड सोर्स, प्रॉफिट एंड गेन्स फ्रॉम बिजनेस और प्रोफेशन. डेफिनेटली अ प्रॉब्लम वुड बी बेस्ड ऑन दिस. जो आपका कंप्यूटेशन का प्रॉब्लम आएगा, that would be based on business or profession plus any other source. Now what business or profession means? Anybody, a painter, a sculptor, a author, a auditor, a lawyer, a doctor, a businessman, everybody would be coming under this business or profession. There are various incomes which are coming under business or profession, like revenue profits, receipt in connection with foreign trade, any benefit you get from your business, any interest salary, any amount received due to keyman insurance policy, anything, whatever you get from the business. Suppose मैं चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हूँ, मेरे एक केस को मैंने रिजॉल्व किया, मेरा क्लाइंट बहुत खुश हो गया और उसने मुझे iPhone 14 गिफ्ट किया. वो iPhone 14 की जो वैल्यू है, that will be my income from business or profession. So anything, whatever I get from income or profession, that would be taxable here. Now these are the certain expenses allowed under business or income, like any expenses you incur for business premises, any revenue expenditure you incur for plant and machinery, furniture, fixture, any depreciation, any expenditure on the scientific research. साइंटिफिक रिसर्च के ऊपर साइंटिस्ट की सैलरी, रिसर्च करने के लिए कोई खर्चा अगर आपने किया है, 100% ऑफ द एक्सपेंडिचर इज अलाउड. प्रिलिमिनरी एक्सपेंसेस, बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने से पहले अगर मैंने कोई प्रिलिमिनरी एक्सपेंसेस किया है, जैसे मैंने एग्रीमेंट बनवाई, मेमोरेंडम बनवाया, आर्टिकल्स बनवाए, तो उसका जितना भी खर्चा होगा 5 years तक उसको अलाउड है. देन वी हैव, these are the general expenditures which are allowed, like insurance premium for the cattle if you are in a cattle industry, insurance premium for the health of employees, any loss in the business, any expenditure on the family planning, like a capital expenditure for the company, any advertisement expenditure, not in a political party, any entertainment expenditure, these are specifically allowed. And there is one general deduction also for the expenses which are not covered under section 30 to 36. They should be of the revenue nature. They should not be of capital nature. मतलब आपने asset नहीं खरीदी होनी चाहिए. They should not be of a personal nature. They should be made during the previous year. These are the expenses which are not allowed. Any excessive payment to the relative. आपकी वाइफ आपके बिजनेस में है, 10th पढ़ी हुई है, उसको आप 50,000 सैलरी दे रहे हो, so it is not allowed. Any cash expenditure made above rupees 10,000, it is not allowed. Entire amount is not allowed. Any sum payable by the assessee by way of tax, duty is not allowed. Any losses, embezzlement of the cash is allowed, theft is allowed. लेकिन आपने अगर कोई penalty pay की है, then it is not allowed. So there are certain expenses which are allowed and which are not allowed. जितने भी expenses disallowed है, वो आपके net profit में हमें add करने पड़ेंगे. और ऐसी कोई expenses जो आपने P&L में नहीं दिखाई है, लेकिन वो allowed है, वो उसमें से minus कर देंगे. The fourth source we have is capital gains. First of all, for understanding capital gains, you should be aware that there are two types of capital asset. One is short term and one is long term. Definition short term की दी गई है, long term की नहीं दी गई है. मतलब जो short term नहीं है, वो long term है. जैसे किसी कंपनी के शेयर्स जो लिस्टेड हैं, अगर आपने 12 महीने से ज्यादा होल्ड किए हैं, तो वो लॉन्ग टर्म है. 12 महीने से कम होल्ड किए हैं, तो शॉर्ट टर्म है. अनलिस्टेड कंपनी के शेयर्स हैं, अगर आपने 24 मंथ से ज्यादा होल्ड किया है, लॉन्ग टर्म है. 24 मंथ से कम होल्ड किया है, शॉर्ट टर्म में. कोई रेसिडेंशियल प्रॉपर्टी 24 मंथ से, कोई भी हाउस प्रॉपर्टी 24 मंथ से कम होल्डिंग है, देन इट इज अ शॉर्ट टर्म. 24 मंथ से ज्यादा है, देन इट इज अ लॉन्ग टर्म. And any other asset apart from this, if it is holded for less than 36 months, like gold, then it is a short term. More than 36 months, then it is a long term. अगर कोई भी आपकी शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल एसेट है, जब आप सम सॉल्व करोगे, just 1 minute. Yes. अगर आप कोई शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल एसेट को बेच रहे हो, तो सेल वैल्यू माइनस कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन और परचेज, दैट्स ऑल. अगर आप किसी लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल एसेट को बेच रहे हो, तो उसमें से आपको माइनस करना पड़ेगा इंडेक्स्ड कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन. नाउ इंडेक्स्ड कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन मींस, what is indexed cost of acquisition? We have to bring the cost to the current price. For example, मैंने 2001 में कोई asset अगर परचेज किया है, तो 2001 का इंडेक्स फैक्टर है 100 और हमारे करंट ईयर का इंडेक्स फैक्टर है 317. तो वो प्राइस को मुझे आज के प्राइस के ऊपर लेके आना पड़ेगा. That is called as indexed cost of acquisition. मतलब अगर 2001 में उसकी प्राइस 1 लाख रुपए है, तो आज की उसकी प्राइस 317 फैक्टर के हिसाब से कितनी होनी चाहिए? That is called as indexed cost of acquisition. Now, under capital gain, 2 exemptions you have to learn. वैसे तो बहुत सारे हैं, लेकिन आप लोग लकी हो, सिलेबस में सिर्फ 2 ही है. One is exemption under section 54. Another one is exemption under section 54 EC. Section 54 है, अगर आपके पास कोई प्रॉपर्टी है, रेसिडेंशियल प्रॉपर्टी है, और आप उसको बेच रहे हो, तो उसमें से जितना भी लॉन्ग टर्म गेन होगा, वो लॉन्ग टर्म गेन अगर आपने कोई नई प्रॉपर्टी परचेज करने के लिए यूटिलाइज किया है, then you would be getting exemption for the amount which has been utilized for the purchase of new property. But The new property should be purchased 1 year before the sale or 2 years after the sale. And if you're constructing a new property, it should be constructed within 3 years after the sale. Then only the exemption would be granted. और जब तक आप पैसे नहीं यूटिलाइज कर रहे हो, the amount should be kept in an account in a nationalized bank called as capital gain scheme account. This is section 54. Section 54 EC is available for all the assets, long-term asset. If you are selling that long-term asset and if you are investing that amount in a bond, rural electrification bond, then there are many bonds are there. The list has been given, National Highway Authority bond. If you are making an investment in these bonds, then deduction would be allowed. This is income from capital gain. Surely a problem of 10 marks. 1 minute. Yes. So this is about your capital gains. Moving ahead. Just 1 minute, it is not moving. Yes. Then the last source we have is income taxable under section 56. That is income from other sources. Now, what is this income from other sources? The first one is, पहले तो ये other source important क्यों है? कोई भी income है, लेकिन वो किसी के अंदर भी taxable नहीं हो पा रही है, तो वो taxable होगी income from other sources में. जैसे मैंने एक हाउस प्रॉपर्टी रेंट पे ली और मैंने वो प्रॉपर्टी किसी और को रेंट पे दे दी. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज सबलेटिंग. तो वो यहाँ पे टैक्सेबल होगी. इंटरेस्ट ऑन बैंक डिपॉजिट, इंटरेस्ट ऑन लोन, वैकेंट पीस ऑफ लैंड, एग्रीकल्चर इनकम फ्रॉम लैंड सिचुएटेड आउटसाइड इंडिया. इंडिया की होगी तो वो एग्जेम्प्ट होगी, आउटसाइड इंडिया होगी तो टैक्सेबल होगी. इंश्योरेंस कमीशन, अनडिस्क्लोज्ड इनकम, डिलेड रिफंड ऑफ इनकम टैक्स. इनकम टैक्स का रिफंड मिलेगा तो वो टैक्सेबल नहीं होगा, लेकिन वो रिफंड के ऊपर अगर आपको इंटरेस्ट मिलता है, दैट वुड बी taxable under this source. Any remuneration received by the teacher from his employer would be taxable, other than his employer would be taxable under this source. Anything which is not taxable under profit and gains, लेकिन वो business से related भी नहीं है, like income from royalty, that would be taxable here. And the last one is very much important, director sitting fees. ये बहुत बार आता है. डायरेक्टर जो मीटिंग अटेंड करता है, बोर्ड मीटिंग अटेंड करने के लिए उसे जो फीस मिलेगी, that would be taxable here. So these are certain income taxable here. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Even any dividend, any dividend received from domestic companies, any winning from lotteries, any sum received from any insurance policy, any interest on securities, even आपने प्लांट या फर्नीचर को भी रेंट पे दिया वो भी, मशीनरी को रेंट पे दिया वो भी, कीमैन इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी अगर और किसी सोर्स में नहीं टैक्सेबल होगी तो यहाँ पे होगी. एनी रिसिप्ट ऑफ शेयर्स विदाउट कंसिडरेशन वुड बी टैक्सेबल हियर. So these are certain important income which are taxable under income from other sources. And income from other sources में से deduction available है. जैसे अगर मैंने शेयर्स में इन्वेस्ट किया तो शेयर्स खरीदने के लिए सपोज मैंने लोन लिया, वो लोन का जो मैं इंटरेस्ट पे कर रही हूँ, that is allowed as a deduction provided the interest amount should not be more than 20% of the dividend. अगर मैंने बुक लिखा और मुझे रॉयल्टी मिली, तो बुक लिखने के लिए मैंने अगर कुछ खर्चा किया है, दैट इज अलाउड एज अ डिडक्शन। मशीनरी रेंट पे दी, मशीनरी की डेप्रिसिएशन इज अलाउड एज अ डिडक्शन, मशीनरी की रिपेयरिंग इज अलाउड एज अ डिडक्शन। लेकिन लॉटरी के पैसे जीते, लॉटरी खरीदने के लिए मैंने जितना पैसा लगाया, दैट इज नॉट अलाउड एज अ डिडक्शन। सो डिडक्शंस वी डिड। द लास्ट पार्ट इज पूरी इनकम तो कैलकुलेट हो गई, नाउ वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड डिडक्शंस। दो प्रॉब्लम में डिडक्शन एक्सपेक्टेड है, एक सैलरी का जो क्वेश्चन आएगा उसमें एक डिडक्शन पक्का रहेगा, और जो कंप्यूटेशन आएगा उसमें दो डिडक्शंस पक्का आएंगे। डिडक्शंस आर गिवन अंडर सेक्शन 80 है, 80 अंडर सेक्शन 80, जिसको हम चैप्टर 6A के डिडक्शन भी बोलते हैं। डिडक्शंस बेसिकली बहुत सारे हैं, बट सिलेबस में सिर्फ ये 6 है। पहला है 80A। सेक्शन 80A बोलता है कि आपकी ग्रॉस डिडक्शन का अमाउंट आपके ग्रॉस इनकम से कभी भी ज्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए। देन वी हैव 80C। वी आर हैविंग वेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट्स लाइक LIC का प्रीमियम, बच्चों की ट्यूशन फी, आपके फी रिसिप्ट में ट्यूशन फी का कंपोनेंट रहता है वो वाला। देन एन्युटी प्लान, पेंशन प्लान, बहुत सारे ऐसे इन्वेस्टमेंट है। बैंक की फिक्स डिपॉजिट 5 साल वाली, देन पोस्ट ऑफिस सेविंग बैंक अकाउंट, PPF अकाउंट। अगर मैंने इन सब में इन्वेस्ट किया, I would be getting a deduction. The maximum amount is 1,50,000. Then is 80CCC. If I had made an investment in the annuity plan of LIC, I would be getting a deduction. लेकिन 80C and 80CCC दोनों मिला के the amount should not be more than 1,50,000. Then the next is 80D. अगर मैंने मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस लिया तो मुझे अप टू ₹25,000 डिडक्शन है। इंश्योरेंस मेडिकल का किस किस के लिए लिया? खुद के लिए, वाइफ के लिए, हस्बैंड के लिए, बच्चों के लिए जो डिपेंडेंट है। और अगर पेरेंट्स के लिए लिया तो एक्स्ट्रा 25,000। अगर उनकी एज 60 से ज्यादा है तो 50,000। बट मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस में एक कंडीशन है, इट शुड बी ऑलवेज पेड इन चेक। अगर आपने चेक से पे नहीं किया तो नो डिडक्शन। देन वी हैव DD। DD का मतलब है डिपेंडेंट डिसेबल। आपके ऊपर कोई डिपेंडेंट है और वो डिसेबल है। डिसेबल कैसे प्रूव करेंगे? गवर्नमेंट ने लिख के दिया है कि वो डिसेबल है, लेटर है, डिसेबिलिटी सिवियर नहीं है, 80% से कम है, एडॉक डिडक्शन, उसके ऊपर आप कुछ खर्चा करो नहीं करो, 75,000 रुपीज, और सिवियर डिसेबिलिटी है तो 1,25,000 रुपीज। देन है 80E। E स्टैंड फॉर एजुकेशन। अगर आपने कोई एजुकेशन लोन लिया है खुद के लिए, स्पाउस के लिए, बच्चों के लिए, तो उसका जो इंटरेस्ट है उसका डिडक्शन मिलेगा करंट ईयर में प्लस आने वाले 7 सालों में। अगर आपका लोन 5 साल में खत्म हो जा रहा है तो 5 साल, 7 सालों में हो रहा है तो 7 साल, 10 सालों में हो रहा है तो भी 7 साल, कोई लिमिट नहीं है। देन इज 80TTA। अगर आपको सेविंग बैंक अकाउंट है आपका और आपको उसमें से इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है, तो वो इंटरेस्ट तो होगा इनकम फ्रॉम अदर सोर्सेस, लेकिन वो आपको डिडक्शन मिलेगा अप टू ₹10,000। द लास्ट इज 80U। अगर आप खुद डिसेबल हो और इनकम अर्न कर रहे हो तो आपको एक डिडक्शन है एडॉक डिडक्शन, दैट इज 75,000। अगर डिसेबिलिटी सिवियर है, 80% से ज्यादा है, तो 1,25,000। आपको पता कैसे पड़ेगा कि ये डिडक्शन एग्जाम में आया है? क्वेश्चन स्टार्ट ही ऐसा होगा, मिस्टर राहुल, a physically disabled person with 75% disability gives you the following information. डिडक्शन ऐसे बताए नहीं जाएंगे, पेपर में ढूंढने पड़ेंगे, क्वेश्चन में ढूंढने पड़ेंगे कि डिडक्शन कहाँ पे है। कंप्यूटेशन में 2 सोर्स ऑफ इनकम रहेंगे और 2 डिडक्शन पक्का आएंगे ही आएंगे। सो दिस इज इन जनरल अबाउट योर एंटायर सिलेबस। So if you have any questions, you can raise. Reena madam, I have tried to cover everything within the time.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Since I am also the tax facilitator, So I must say that in such a short span of time, you have covered all the important points, important from the exam point of view. And you have also prepared the students mentally for preparing the exam. And you have also covered the question paper pattern for the offline exam, because these students will be appearing for the exam after the span of 2 years for the offline examination. So thank you very much, ma'am. There are certain questions. Can I go ahead with the questions?
Yes, ma'am, surely.
Ma'am, the students has asked that, is it important to write the sections in exam?
Madam, the sections, if they know the section, they should write. Otherwise, they should start the answer as per the provisions of Income Tax Act 1961. That's all. But if they write a wrong section, then their marks are going to be deducted.
Okay.
So better don't write if they don't.
Okay. If they're not firm, they are not sure, they should not mention.
Yes, sure. Yes.
There is another question that when you were explaining the other sources, there was one item that income from subletting property is taxable under other sources. So why is it so?
Yes, when we say income from house property, the definition of the house property state that it should be owned by the owner. And when I say subletting a property, it is not owned by the owner. He is the tenant who is giving the property on the rent. So as the definition is, as the subletting doesn't come under the ownership, so it cannot go under income from house property. As it is subletting, you are not the owner of the property, you are the tenant, which cannot go under section 23. So if it is not possible to go under section 23, we have another source, that is section 56, where it can go.
Thank you very much.
For house property, he should be the owner.
Okay. Because here consideration of income in a particular head is very important, because the method of computing the taxability is different in each head. Yes. Thank you very much, ma'am, for such an exhaustive session. And on behalf of S.S.T College, the entire fraternity of S.S.T College, as well as the students, I thank you for sparing your valuable time and delivering this crash course series for our students. I also thank the management of S.S.T College for always supporting such kind of student development program, which is going to play a very important role for their exam. Last minute revision, this must be very, very fruitful for the student. I also thank the founder principal, Dr. J.C. Purswani sir, and our IQSC coordinator, Dr. Khushbu Purswani ma'am, for always coming up with these ideas, innovative ideas, which is going to play a very important role for the students. I also thank the Department of Commerce for organizing this crash course series for TYBCOM Sem V. I also thank my senior colleagues and all my staff members, administrative staff, as well as the technical staff for supporting to organize and conduct this event. Last but not the least, I also offer my thank to students of S.S.T College for attending the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam, for inviting me for this session.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, should I stop the series?
Yes, yes.
Okay.